G'day, Banjo from Jungle Masters again. I've come out for a walk today and just pulled up to have a bit of lunch. I've had my lunch and well, where am I? I'm in the Alla Bay National Park. That way is south. We've got Flying Fish Point and the Johnston River. That way is north and we've got Alla Bay. That way is east and we've got the Coral Sea. I just pulled up here to have lunch and given the state of the weather, which you might tell is rather inclement, I've strung up my rain poncho as a shelter. It's got a number of benefits. A, you don't continue getting wet while you're sitting eating lunch, but it's even better for keeping your lunch dry. Nothing worse than soggy bread on, well, what was today, sandwiches. I very rarely wear a poncho for a raincoat, but I always carry one because in an emergency or even when you stop for lunch, or more especially when you stop for the night, it can provide a small area out of the rain which can make a huge difference to your comfort level. There's a couple of other things. I can only talk about ponchos for so long. This is the poncho I have for sale here. It's a little bit longer than normal ponchos. It's 215 centimetres. Most of them top out at about 200 centimetres on the long ways, and width ways it's 145 instead of 140. It's the biggest one I could find, and again it's because I don't usually wear it for a raincoat. I wear it for shelter. I just thought I'd quickly go through the other equipment I've got aside from what I'm wearing. I've pared down my vest today. Those of you that have seen some of my other videos will see that I've got a new vest, and this one is all molly, which is mobile, lightweight, load-bearing equipment. It simply has a water bladder. I've upgraded to a 3-litre water bladder because I found I was often getting home with very little water, if any. My first aid kit, which also houses survival kit, and my lunchbox basically. In there I've got my normal cooking pot, but because it's such a lightweight pot, it's very useful for carrying the food in, even though today I'm not carrying a stove or the gas to propel the stove. And on the front I've just got a small pouch here. Has my compass going into it. I keep the camera in there as well. And inside are a few personal items like a bit of cash and a couple of cards, license, that sort of thing. You'll also see I have wrapped around the strap the 550 Paracord survival cord with the special strands inside. You may make out the red one there. You probably won't be able to tell which one's the fishing line and which one's the sewing thread, but they're all in there as well. So I've got 10 metres of that cord there. It's just nicely stowed in the back of that pouch and well out of my way. The only other equipment I'd like to mention today is that today I've actually gone for a PLB. It's not mine, I borrowed it. I've yet to buy a PLB. It stands for Personal Locator Beacon, and because I go solo into remote areas, it's always a good idea to have one. I'm trialling this one before purchasing. They're very expensive. I probably will not be selling them. Simply because I cannot seem to buy them wholesale any cheaper with freight than what you can buy it at other outdoor suppliers. So I fully encourage you to go elsewhere to get your PLB, but I do recommend you carry one, especially if you're starting out. Just remember they're for emergencies, life-threatening emergencies. Not if you stub your toe, not if you get tired, not if you're forced to stay in the bush overnight. It's when you have no way of getting out without assistance and your life could be threatened by your remaining where you are. And that's what the PLB is for. Got my mobile phone in its new waterproof case on my other shoulder here. Not terribly happy with the waterproof case because it no longer fits in the front pouch of this little molly pack here. But I'm also wearing 3 what I call head socks and what I should probably start calling snoobs. I've now got my own personalised, you probably won't be able to read it. If I pull that up, you'll see it has Jungle Masters written down the length of it. These are my old ones here. they're great. You can use them for so many things. And in this instance, I've taken the 2 old ones and I've got them wrapped around my wrist. They do 2 things. They seal the join between the gloves and the shirt. So there's no way the leeches, ticks, etc. can get in there. I had been bitten by leeches around that part of my glove before, because as you're walking through the bush, a gap develops between the 2. This now seals that gap. But better than that, for those of you that remember the 80s, it makes a great sweatband. It's perfectly placed for mopping the sweat out of my eyes or the rain on a day like today. I've still got the one around my head. I know it makes me look silly, but it offers an incredible amount of protection when I'm tearing my way through the sawgrass, the wadder wild, any vines, as well as protecting anything from dropping down inside my shirt. Anyway, it's probably time for me to see if I can find my way back to where I started. Sitting on top of the knoll here, lovely place for lunch, but I've got somewhere to be tonight, so I'd better not dally too long. I certainly don't want to have to set off the PLB. Till next time, I'll see you later.